Hey everybody, Eddie Lebron here, the director of the Sonic fan film. I'm here in a little new setting. Usually I do my question and answers and my blogs and all that from my vlogs from another editing suite that I use, but this is the one in my own home. This is what I primarily use to edit everything I do. As you can see here, that's the teaser for Sonic, which is currently being revamped. That's actually the old Sonic model. We've updated the model, and a lot of fun things are going on. But what I'm here for is a question and answer vlog for Fans United for Sad AM. Here I have all these questions that were sent to me, and yeah, these are amongst the frequently asked questions that many people have in regards to the film that I've been asking on the site and everywhere else. So um, let's begin. Our first question is, who the hell are you anyway? What are your roles in this? What is your role in this movie? I'm Eddie Lebron. I am the writer, director, cinematographer, editor of Sonic. Ultimately, I'm uh, the guy in charge. I have creative control over the movie, so essentially, uh, from the conception to completion, I'm pretty much the guy who's kind of running this operation. I've been a huge Sonic fan since I was like 5. This has been kind of a dream film of mine, in tier with Mega Man, but I want to do Mega Man for certain reasons, and I would do Sonic for other reasons. But ultimately, it's out of being a fan and just wanting to make this movie. I'm the director, writer. I'm pretty much the guy. So if the film sucks, it's can be. I guess you can blame me. You can blame me. If the film works, then yay for me and everyone else involved. It's not a one man operation, but if you got to point finger, point it at me. So, what's our next question? Our next question is, one moment. What made me want to start working in this industry, the film industry? I've been making whole movies since I was 10. I've been a huge movie fan since I as far back as I can remember. Um, that's I When I was 4, I was watching everything: Child's Play, Ghostbusters. I was a huge movie fanatic. I would watch movies and movies day in day out. I'd fall asleep watching Fantasia, so I did that for like 3 years straight. I'd put it on and I'd watch it until I fall asleep. Of course, my parents put it on. I was only 4. Um, so it's movies is in my blood. It's been in my blood since as far back as I remember. It motivated all the games I play. I want to be RoboCop, so I'd play RoboCop. Um, and then at around 12, uh, actually I think it was 11, 1998, my aunt brought over a camera, a home video camera, and I'm like, oh, I can make movies with this. Instead of keeping them up here, I was able to put them out here and just shoot everything: music videos, comedies, documentaries. And then my father took out his own little VHS cam. He's like, start using this. We had this the whole time. And I'm like, that thought never crossed me. You got a video camera. Why not, use it? So, over the next 5 years, I've been just doing nothing but home movies and just kind of honing in my craft. And then around 2005, 2006, granted, when I was 14, I knew I wanted this to be my career. That was set in stone. At that, I was like, why be an accountant or a lawyer and just do it for the money when you can do something for a passion? And if you can, survive off that, fantastic. So around 2005 is when I figured, okay, I've been doing this whole movie thing for so many years, and I've been, learning how to work with actors and shots and cinematography, friends as actors, theory of working with actors. So I was like, I should work with actors that actually do this for a living. And it came to me one day like, maybe I can do like something really ambitious. And then that's when I figured I'd do a Ghostbusters fan film. And that was my first time holding an audition for actors, working with actors, you know, scheduling a shoot, having a script written. And this was before I even went to film school, so I was just kind of forcing myself to learn all this. And I guess, I don't want to get into the whole details of how I got here, but, I made my own films. I worked with actors. I kind of learned on my own, and then I went to film school. Started going to film school in late 2007. Yeah, late 2007. Um, and that was the next stepping stone for me. I started working with people who wanted to do this. Started working with people in the industry. People saw that I was already experienced enough. Well, experienced me in the sense that I did this before going to film school. I knew how to light. I knew how to shoot. So I was working on a lot of people's projects, a lot of cinematography. That's when I started, doing cinematography as a main income, main focus of income. And my professors, were impressed by this, impressed by me and the short films I did, and then just kind of like the domino effect, like he's great at this, let me recommend him to that person, or I have a friend who wants to, needs a DP and he's willing to pay, and here I am now. I'm doing this as a living. I'm working in, both independent stuff and working in independent studios and just kind of doing this. This is what I do, and I'm loving it. This is what I've been wanting to do. I'm not famous or, in a position that's Hollywood. But I'm very happy with where I'm going from here, which is absolutely fantastic. Next question. First, it was. Oh, wrong question. Other than me and the producers, how many people are working behind the scenes? What are their roles? We have a very basic crew here. I used to work with a crew of just me and myself. Then when you start having people who are interested in working with you, you kind of just want, a little more help. Could I do this movie with just me and one other person? Yeah, but it would really complicate the situation and just. We're shooting this on a red cam, which is like a Hollywood style digital camera, which is huge, and that alone I need at least two ACs to help me out with dumping the footage and just helping me carry it around because it's 35 pounds. So, and changing the lenses. So there's one AC, there's a second AC, assistant camera, one that's focused on helping me and dumping the footage. Let me put this back on. And there's first AC helps me pull focus and get the lenses on. We have a sound guy, a boom person, assistant director to help me keep on schedule, who kind of doubles as a boom person, does a lot of tools, does a lot of things on set. And the two producers who are crewsmen. So roughly, including myself, it's an average from 5 to 8 people in my crew, which is large by some standards, small by other. But on a film this ambitious, you kind of need the help. Most of which are students at the school I go to, School of Visual Arts, talented people who are willing to, help me out. And then there's the actors. So that's, on an average day, 1 to 4 actors right there. So in total, I guess we'll stick with behind the crew people. Definitely 5 to 7, including myself. On quiet days in which I just need inserts, just me and an assistant camera, which is probably David, my producer. And, it varies. Some days I'm just shooting on my own, just me and the camera. Some days it's me and 2 other people. And on the more complicated days, like the first day of shooting, we're looking at 5 to 7 people, not including a Steadicam operator who will be putting the camera on Steadicam and floating around, getting really nice shots of Sonic, running at 300 miles an hour. That doesn't even include the visual effects people, which we roughly have about 4 currently working. Our lead visual effects guy who modeled Sonic and is doing the animation, 2 other modelers, and a matte painter who's currently pending. And it's just kind of expanding, and everyone is pretty much doing it for either a favor or for free or just for the sake of doing it. Not that many people are getting paid on this. I would say the only people getting paid are the actors. The crew, we have, this barter system going. You can use the red cam if you help on the shoot for free. They normally would help on for free, but, we're just giving the actors a little something because they've done so many free things for me. But this is a really low-budget film. Not that many people are getting paid on it. I'm not getting paid. The producers aren't. The crew isn't. And the visual effects people are getting a little bit of something just out of courtesy. They originally did this for free. And the composer's getting a little something, but, that's, this is all, it's all a barter system. And, I mean, that's where we are in terms of people behind the scenes. There's not that many people working this thing, but by some standards, yes. Okay, first it was Mega Man, now Sonic. Why Sonic? Why now? Mega Man just, in terms of a live action thing, Mega Man jived with me a little bit more. It just, made more sense to adapt that into live action. Um, and I was a huge Mega Man fan. In my youth, it was Mega Man and Sonic. There were times in which I was Sonic crazy, and there was times in which I was Mega Man crazy. But the thing was, is Mega Man seemed a lot more relatable for obvious reasons. It takes place in a world kind of like our own in the future, 2000XX, dealing with robotics. I love robotics. I've been a fan of robot. I mean, one of my favorite childhood films was Short Circuit, just for the fact that the lead was a robot, and I loved RoboCop too. Um, so I was heavy into that, and Mega Man just jived me. I visioned that more as something that can happen in live action, so it seemed more plausible and something I can do on a relatively decent budget. So I did Mega Man for real cheap, real cheap, over the course of 2 to 3 years. Sonic I've been wanting to do for as long as Mega Man. The only thing is Sonic I put in the back of my mind because it just didn't seem plausible by any stretch of the imagination. I would need hundreds of millions, hundreds of thousands to even millions to pull off what I want to pull off. But I learned so much about low budget filmmaking on Mega Man and just doing all these short films I've been doing for a while, and it just kind of made sense to do it now, because how can I one up Mega Man? If I want to do one more fan film, one more video game film, where should I go from here? I wanted to do Metroid. I attempted to do that. Luckily I didn't get too far into it before I realized as of now it's not that plausible. So I decided, you know what, I have to go to where my passion is, where a character that I love just as much as Mega Man, and that's Sonic. And I'm like, how can I plausibly do this? And the only way to do it is in live action for me. I would preferably like to do it fully animated. But my biggest preference would be a full CG movie, so I can really just, do something completely fresh yet familiar. But the challenge of doing it in live action really excited me, because the main reason we like to see things in live action is because we want to see the tangible and see things that happen in our world. Even if it's like Lord of the Rings, it's not our world, but it's a world you can feel and you can touch and you can smell and get caught up in the atmosphere of it. So I wanted to do that with Sonic. Seeing the speed and the adventure and just all these elements in live action just excited me, and seeing that happen in a live action setting interested me, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, because Sonic hasn't really had a big impact on just the gaming culture since, discounting Sonic 2006, that was a negative impact. Sonic Adventure, that was like the last time Sonic made a huge impact, just jumped from 3D, and there hasn't been that much of a change, since some people are either afraid to take the leap to do something different, or they take a leap to do something too different. They can't seem to get it right. I think the closest in the last 10 years might have been Sonic Colors, the best balance of something new yet something familiar. So I just wanted to do a film that kind of reflected, the nostalgia I felt while giving something, new to present to the fan community, and something, interesting, creative I can do as a fan. Next question. Why Julia White, and how the hell did I pull that off? Um, it started when I made the announcement for Sonic with my producers at Screw Attack Gaming Convention 2010. We announced it. We knew we were going to do it. We didn't know who was going to voice Sonic. Someone in the back said, "Are you going to get Julia White?" And I was like, "Ha ha ha, you're so funny." Because, that was just, I wasn't thinking about it I was thinking realistically, how can we get him? And this employer I worked for, who, I mean, the guy has an agent, so I'm pretty, him getting other agents' info is kind of could be easy. On another side story, I learned that getting Julia White's or any other agent's information isn't that hard, but getting them to do the job is the hard part, because an agent will smell a fish or smell someone odd from a mile away and be like, we're not interested, click. So the issue is not getting the info of the agent. The issue is actually getting the agent to think that working with you is a good idea. But back onto the story. An employer of mine, a real cool guy, very attentive, but that's another story. But he's cool. He's cool. He was like, you want Julia White? I'm like, yeah, I want Julia. I can get him. And I'm like, you can get me Julia White? Nah. Turned out, he was able to get his agent's info, because he worked with a bunch of actors who, he reached out to their agents again, and goes back to the whole story I said about getting an agent's info. There's ways to get it online, which I don't want to get into. Legit ways, but I just don't want to talk about it. Um, and he got me the agent's info, and I pretty much did all the talking. He talked to him, and he was like, "We got someone here interested in a Sonic film. Da 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 da. Can I hand off you his number and you can get in touch?" He's like, "Yes, yes. Just have him call this number." Da da. Called the agent over the course of 6 weeks. We haggled and talked about the project. I presented him what I did with Mega Man and all my other shorts, and that impressed him. He's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, and he is not taking us for a ride, and he makes movies. And on top of that, Mega Man has gotten 1 million embed views and nearly 500,000 unique views. So he was like, okay, there's this following behind Mega Man. There's people that know who this guy is, and he works, independently in the industry. So let me present this to Jaleel. Jaleel was interested. He said yes. We haggled with him down from his regular fee because we don't got all the money in the world, but we made it work, and that was that. It was not a dramatic process. It's the basic Hollywood process of just getting the agent's info, presenting it, and then just kind of making an offer. It's just and as of how we were able to, I'm pretty sure another question which is not on here is how were we able to afford him? I'm gonna just pretty much say right now we don't have a lot of money. We have, we get income from doing jobs and all that, but we do not have hundreds of thousands in our pocket, or thousands. So borrowing money out of pocket, loan, selling some things, because we thought Jaleel was worth it. And I don't regret it at all having him work on this, which goes right into our next question, which is, what was Jaleel like to work with? He is I was gonna say the F word. He's so freaking awesome. I hope meeting a lot more actors of his stature are that cool. He was cool, he professional. We spent a majority of the time just kind of not only with back and talk between actor and director, but he was chatting about the industry to me and my producers and telling us stories about him and his, just very casual stuff. And by the end of it, I could say that we're friends with him. I mean, we're not the best of friends, we're not great friends, but acquaintances. We chatted with him. And his manager keeps in touch with us. Jaleel's interested in seeing where this goes. He's interested in seeing where the movie will go from here, if we can make it something bigger than a short. He told us a lot of great stories, a lot of amazing advice. He was just fantastic. No ego, very smart. He is a very smart person. And that's really all I can say about him is, he's got a legacy, and he's at where he is right now in terms of just financially and just in terms of work, for a reason. He's smart, and he's enjoying his career, and he's enjoying life, and not jaded by any stretch of the imagination. Next question. It was mentioned Jaleel gave 2 different takes on the character, a lighthearted one and a mature one. Which version did you choose and why? The version you heard in the trailer was the lighthearted one. The mature one was more of a Michael Bay one. It was a little deeper, a little bit sexier, I guess is the best term of it, which Jaleel recommended going with. But the thing was, he was playing the older version much more to what I wanted. It's like all the complaints fans had about his voice back in the early 90s, gone. He got the tone of Sonic right. The pitch was much better now. He balanced everything in his Sonic performance a lot more in the lighthearted one, even though I kind of wanted a take of him a little bit younger, back to the 90s version. But it was like his lighthearted one was the kind of the mature one that I wanted. It was the best balance of everything. So we're going with that because it sounds like the Sonic from, Sad AM and the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and all that, but maybe aged 2 to 3 years, which is perfect for a live action movie. Okay, what do we got here? Our next question is, do you plan to release the unused voice sample at some point in time? I don't know. I may have to run that by Jaleel's people, because they know as of now the only version that's coming out is, the version that's presented in the film. But I don't foresee any issues with it because he recorded both under the pretense that this would be heard by the public. So there's a possibility I wouldn't have to talk to his people to publicly release that. The only thing is I would have to kind of cut out the in betweens, the takes, stick with the actual performance instead of the banter but in between. So it would most likely have to be a version of the film re-released with a secondary voice performance. And the thing about that is that's not commonly done in any means. You don't kind of put an alternate performance in a film. You don't kind of put an alternate voiceover in a film. So as of now, I have to probably say no for now. Never say never, but for now, I don't know if that's possible. Just ethically. Yeah. Why have live action film? Why not animation? I touched upon this earlier. The live action is tangible. You can touch it, and you can see it and feel it, and just it's happening in a world that we can relate with from the get go. And seeing Sonic run at 300 miles an hour in our world is something that really excites me and just seems different. It seems interesting. So it seems something like getting the balance between something new and something old, and something fresh and something familiar. Animation, I kind of wanted to do a three. I would have preferred to do a completely 3D movie, but budget wise and just it just doesn't seem plausible right now. It would be more time consuming. Maybe if this was to be picked up by a studio, I'd go completely CG or go 2D animated. But as of now, live action is what I'm most knowledgeable in. So it just seems better for the character and for what I want to do to stick in what I understand best. Next question. Wow, okay, they're getting bigger. How much original music are you using? And how much of it is inspired from the game? I would say throughout the whole soundtrack, there's going to be hints of, as you can hear in the trailer, there's going to be hints of many tracks. The Green Hill Zone theme, the opening theme. You're going to hear it peppered in with a lot of original stuff, so you'll be able to hear the cue. It's going to be like the Mega Man movie. You're going to hear a lot of cues, and it's going to sound, familiar. And you can be like, oh, wow, an orchestral rendition of the Green Hill Zone. And then after that, there'll be, original cues and just things balancing out. That way it's fresh and original. So, from a narrative, character, and setting point of view, which Sonic universe was your greatest inspiration? The first game. And then Sad AM. The first game, Sonic Adventure and Sad AM in that order. Adventure introduced the idea of Sonic being in a world that was tangible to ours. That's Sonic Adventure. Sonic the Hedgehog, the first game, was what we all refer to. That is the epitome of Sonic, what he represents in terms of visual style. And Sad AM is just kind of a more mature, more universal approach to Sonic, something that would translate to live action a little bit more. But at the end of the day, we're going back to that was Dan. But yeah, we're going back to, we're referring to the first game as our main source of inspiration, design-wise and all that, because that is what will separate this from other films, is the fact that you will see the Green Hill Zone and, get a feel for the universe and our own interpretation of how the events led to, the first game in a live-action setting. So it's just exploring a lot of things and just kind of, getting the best balance of everything. That way fans are happy, but it's something exciting to watch. So that's what we're doing in terms of blending all these settings and whatnot. It's just a blend of everything, but we're always referring to the first game primarily. You mentioned you mentioned Sad AM and game references will be featured. Can the fans of Fleaway expect some love too? Maybe. We're actually rewriting the script, but Fleaway is kind of just not a huge priority right now because I'm more focused on the games, and that's my first priority. And I'm already pushing it by introducing elements of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Sad AM. So maybe, maybe not. I can't say yet because we're kind of revamping the script again before we start shooting in about a month. So can't say at the moment. Sorry. Sonic's fur model is hardly a secret now. What was the decision to make decision making behind that? Getting the best balance of just how Sonic is in the original game, how Sonic was in Sonic Adventure in these modern games, and how Sonic would work in live action. Just the balancing act. This whole movie's a balancing act. Uh, we did, however, in a new model. As you can see here, this is not the new model. He's 50% less furry now, which is a common complaint. It was like, okay, he looks fine furry, but really? So we cut down the fur. We made him look a lot more fateful while still making him look, correct in our real world setting. So, and plus, it's just a different approach to Sonic, something that some people are saying, why hasn't Sega done yet? Because in some, instances, they would either, kind of halfway it. And, that bugged some fans. But it's just getting the best balance of everything just to work within the movie. And there's no way I was going to do a complete redesign of his body structure to accommodate live action. That would have been a stupid, stupid thing to do. So, we got this Sonic. Well, not this one, but he's being reworked, and now he looks so much better. I'm so pleased with the fan feedback we got on him, and I think fans are really going to love how he looks. Okay, confirmed characters in this movie have been Robotnik and Sonic. How many other familiar faces can we expect to see? Cameos. E-Series droid will be voiced by Ego Raptor, which is great. He will be in this. We're gonna have E-Series is taking the place of SWAT bots and just the general army of Batniks. Motobug will have no voice, just a basic voice. We're still working on that. Motobug, Buzz Bomber. The cameos are all human cameos. So in terms of another Sonic character, there's one. There's one that we're thinking of putting in the end, touching upon him. Because Sonic is not the only kind of his own in this film world. Tails exist, Knuckles exists. Those kind of creatures exist in this world, and they're not mutants. They're as organic as humans in this world. They all coexist, with a little twist in the film. So I can't say yet. I can't say yet what cameos we have. Let's see. What was the audition process like? We only auditioned Robotnik. He was because all the other actors I worked with, and I knew how great they were, and they were cast based on on just how I know how well they performed as actors. We have a lot of great. I think this is probably the best cast of fan film actors because they're just so wonderful. Jaleel is Jaleel. He didn't need to audition. His Saturday M is his audition. The only character auditioning is Robotnik, just Robotnik, and that's been a real pain in the butt. Trying to find, we have one actor that we're trying to reach out to, and this is Robotnik's gonna be an unknown, an actor who's done independent stuff, but we were contemplating getting someone known for Robotnik, but we want to get someone unknown. That way you don't kind of have to preconceive who they are as Robotnik. Like, you get one actor, you're like, I know that actor is this character or that character. He doesn't work as Robotnik. We're still auditioning Robotnik. Within a month, we'll have Robotnik. The audition process is a pain in the butt trying to find just the balance between how he would work in live action and how he was represented in all of these mediums. So Robotnik's been through a lot of versions over the years, and it's safe, and it's a safe bet the Saturday Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Robotnik model won't be used in the movie. Your loss. Not really. Sorry. Which model will you be using, and will it be an original design? Saturday AM Robotnik combined with the first Robotnik. Finding the blend between those two and finding the best elements of each costume. That way it's Robotnik. It's Robotnik without him being a ripoff of Saturday AM. So let's move on. Where will I be filming? What kind of locations are you striving to create from the cartoon and video games? I want to get a vibe of just, Green Hill Zone. I want to get the tropical vibe of that, so we'll be shooting that, definitely. We were originally going to shoot it up here, but we're moving to either Virgin Islands or Hawaii or Puerto Rico to shoot those. It would be like a 2 or 3 day shoot, just getting inserts of Sonic running through there, just selling it the fact that there's this large world and you got Green Hill Zone over there and you got, you know, the main city over there and you got the ruins over there and just all these things that are coming together and the scrap brain zone can exist over there and somehow the Mushroom Hill Zone is existing over there. It's just for the sake of this, we're keeping it with a lot of greenery, city, contrasting the two. It's got to be visually interesting with all these trees and tall buildings and smoke and sand and beach and water. So we're shooting, in New York. We're shooting in upstate New York. We're shooting Manhattan, upstate New York in the woods where you can't see anything for miles but just tree. And an island. We haven't decided what, but we're working on it right now. Our favorite was the Virgin Island, but we might be moving to Puerto Rico. It's actually cheaper to fly to those places than to Florida, which is mind-boggling, but whatever. Actually, it's a little more than Florida, but it's cheaper than flying to LA. It's crazy. I don't get it either. Tell us about the visual effects in your film. Will we expect a lot of the environment to be CG or certain characters like Sonic? Certain characters like Sonic, some shots will be completely CG just because they'll be impossible to get in live action. And that's that. It's just kind of picking which shots will benefit from the CG more than others and combining live action. Our environments are tangible. That's why we want to shoot at live action so you can feel Sonic running through the Green Hill Zone or feel him, running through the outskirts of South Island and just, getting the feel of that. So we're going to shoot as much live action as possible. There will always be shots in which he will be doing his whole, the whole CG. Will be relying entirely on CG, but we're still figuring that out. We will know within the next 2 weeks. 60 minutes isn't very long for a movie. Why so short? We have bigger plans for this. A feature is a lot more expensive and it requires a lot more of people's attention to sit through 90 minutes. So we want to do something that would be more viral, can spread around a lot more, so more people can see it and, talk about it and talk to us about it and give us feedback. And something that would just be self-contained, because when you're watching internet videos, you don't want it to be too long, but you don't want it to be too short. 15 to 60 minutes is just the right length. So that's what we're doing. And without getting into too many details, there is not a possibility it's happening, but without getting too many details, this is what we're going to be using to pitch not only a Sonic feature to industry people, but pitch ourselves as a production company and, people who can work on a low budget but make really high quality stuff. We have people who are going to be interested in seeing this. That way we can get more legitimate jobs in the industry. And also, it's just something that Sonic fans can just spread around without having to sit through, 90 minutes of it, unless they, like this concept. So it's just brief, to the point, and fun and quick, and something that, me and my producers can show to people, saying this is what we made for such and such amount of dollars. We would love to do something like this as a feature, or do something else, But that's the answer to that. It's just makes more sense to have something more viral that you can spread around. Something quick that won't take up people's time. But if people want a feature, we would love to do one just to explore all the zones and whatnot. Mega Man was just more tangible as a feature on our given budget. How are you guys paying for all of this? Who's funding it? How many kidneys do you have to sell? We didn't sell any kidneys. Loan, borrowing money out of our pockets, selling things, and donators. They've helped us a lot. Just donating to help us pay for these certain expenses. Getting just kind of affording all the little things in order to get this thing going and to promote it and to make it right. So, it's been very helpful. Donations probably account for 10% of our budget, which is fantastic. Maybe even 20%. But it's been extremely helpful, and I'm very grateful people believe in us that much to give us their money to do this. because people don't have to give us. They're gonna see this movie, for free. They don't gotta give us money. But I'll give as much as I can back to them for helping us out. So yeah, that's that. Next, what's next? Sequels. If this could become either a web series or a feature, I would love to do a sequel. I want to work with the character of Tails, and I want to work with all these other characters and work on the Death Egg and just do all these things that I'd love to do a trilogy of a feature films or even 3 seasons of a web series or a TV series. I have so many ideas, and so do my producers, on how we can go about this, and it's just very exciting. So many things we want to explore. So as of now, I can't say if we're going to be able to do sequels. Not yet. We already got plans after Sonic, what we're going to do with that, and what we want to do in terms of, we want to do, original stuff. We want to do a feature film about, we want to do another action movie and some other interesting ideas, but let's see how things, happen over the next few months, see what happens. Any plans on approaching Sega with the finished product? Without getting into too many words, yes. And we know how to go about it, and things are in the works. So that's it. In just a few words, pitch your fan film to us. Why should fans be excited for this? Aside from Sonic in live action, it's the first representation of Sonic that might, create a buzz and a bang since Sonic Adventure. Sonic 2006 was supposed to be this monumental thing, and it turned out not to be, just because of how it was handled. So we're hoping that this film could be the next step in the Sonic myth, the mythology, just a new look on Sonic without changing who he is, taking who he is and doing something new with it, but keeping it fresh and keeping it faithful to who Sonic is and why we like Sonic in the first place, and just, creating a whole film canon. My drive as a fan is what's driving this. My drive as a filmmaker is allowing me to give it as much professionalism as I can. Listening to fans is crucial. This is a fan film. I want other fans to speak out, make this a very communal type of adventure. That way, people feel like they were involved in something great and something big, and it wasn't just about me. It was about me working with all of my crew and my actors, and just working with the fan community, making something that is truly, a great piece of Sonic. Sonic, fan project is a great piece of the Sonic mythos. To close off, who would win in a fight, a caveman or an astronaut? It's interesting because cavemen can be more primal, and astronauts have technology. Astronauts can shoot a caveman in the head, so I'm going with an astronaut. Just, poof. If there was a ninja, that would be a different story. I personally think a ninja can take out a pirate, so I think an astronaut can take out a caveman. A caveman is very brutal, but an astronaut probably has some kind of harpoon or something to blast the caveman's head off. So that's my strategic mindset. That's that's the end of this Q&A. Kind of lengthy, but fun. I want to do more of these, and expect one from my 2 producers within the next week or so, and a bunch of other people. Thank you, Fans United for SatAM, for getting involved and just helping us promote ourselves. And I hope a lot of fans can watch this and give feedback on the film, and stay tuned. A lot of things are in the works, some things that I can't wait to talk about.